Guess what? My girlfriend regrets saying yes.
So what does a robot do at the end of a one-night stand? He nuts and bolts. Nah.
He nuts and bolts. Oh.
All right.
Oh, man.
You can pretend that my jokes aren't funny, but it's not working.
Kyle looks like my dad when he was disappointed in me as a kid.
Like, you're over there, like, showing him your magic act, and it's just a little bit too effeminate, and you don't know it yet, and he's just like, that's real good, son. That's real good. You made that quarter disappear real well. Keep practicing, but lose all the scarves and get rid of that silk.
Lose the scarves.
Also, that's way too much goddamn hairspray in your fucking hair. What is that? Your mother's? What are you wearing? Is that a? Yeah.
What are you wearing? Yeah.
That's the worst, right? Like disappointing your dad when you're little. Like you think you're like, hey dad, look at this cool thing I did, and he's just like, I'm gonna go home and slap your mama right in the mouth.
I remember having to say that.
Whoever she fucked to bring you into this world, that cheating whore. Like he gives you that look.
Go to him and tell like the dumb thing you did, and then like being asked like, well, why did you do that? And you have to fumble for like, I don't know, I just thought it would be fun to use a balloon launcher and launch it at people on the diving board, and then we aimed too low and it hit the pool liner and the pool liner ruptured, and now it's going to cost you a lot of money. Why'd you do that? I thought it would be fun. I didn't know it could break it.
Well, it becomes a VR sex swing when you make the girl wear the headset. So then it looks like Godzilla's fucking her, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
why choose Godzilla though? Like you couldn't be The Rock or
because I like the Japanese voice. Like, Godzilla coming, and she's like,
it's ribbed for your pleasure.
Or are you that? By the way, that was Russian and not Japanese.
No, it's not Russian.
It's right very hard. You know, I can't do the Japanese one. It's hard.
Yeah.
I lean on Taylor for my Japanese accents.
Well, Kyle always approaches Russian.
Yes.
And just like Woody always approaches
monotone.
Woody's accents are like confusing.
He has the nothing accent.
This is my Japanese accent.
It's so bad. I try so hard too, and it's like this. Like I'll even prep, right? Like all right, I can do a Japanese, and then the second I start, I get this stage fright. I don't know how to say it or what to say anymore. Yeah. It's just gone.
Yes, because the trick, Woody, is you have to think of something to say in the accent other than, this is my blank accent.
So stop me if I've told it, but it was in high school, and catch Kyle up. We were talking about trying flights of beer, flights of soda. You've done that before, I'm sure, where you get a bunch of small glasses. And we were in high school, and sometime over a break, and so the gang was all there, and we were like, all right, we want to get drunk tonight because we're in high school and we're not supposed to, and we want to do things we're not supposed to. And we were like, yeah, we should get beer or liquor. And then someone had the idea of like, no, how about we have like a really classy night where we go and get a bunch of cheeses and a bunch of wines, and we all go home and we get dressed up, and then we show back up where we're having this party, and we just have a very classy evening of getting drunk. And so we did that, and we got a bunch of wine, got a bunch of cheeses, and for the first that looks good, Kyle. For the first
promising
hour. Because the way we set it up is we had like 13 bottles of wine. I think there were 7 or 8 of us. So far too much wine. And then a bunch of plates of cheese with like descriptors we'd put on it, like goes well with the red, whatever the fuck. This pairs well with the Zinfandel, a light fruity thing, like silly amounts of detail in there. And for the first like hour, it was us drinking wine like kids, but the way we thought that adults at wine tastings would, where we'd be like, yeah, give me a tiny piece of that sliced cheddar, and I'm going to take half a bottle of the red. And then we guzzle it down the whole time being like, yeah, that actually is pretty good with this cheese. And I still remember I had that drunken moment of lucidity. About 5 hours after that, the wine party had taken a turn. The wine, there were so many empties of bottles of wine. The cheese had long passed or sat there to the point of almost melting. And I had that moment of like, I'd been blacked out for a couple hours and everybody was drunk. And then like I had that snapback as I remember looking out across the basement we were in, seeing the pool table, 2 of my friends, were shirtless, chasing each other for some reason.
This
you know,
is not
they're
how
wearing their
adults drink
their
wine and
nice
cheese.
dress. No, they're wearing their nice dress. This is how 15 and 16-year-olds do it. They're wearing their nice dress shoes. Someone was like swashbuckling with a couple of the pool cues. Someone had just passed out with some red stains on the front, and I just remember thinking, like, this isn't how I imagined our wine party going. Everybody just blackout drunk, aside from like 3 of us trying to salvage it. Like, no, don't spill wine. You know, it turns out when you pack a bunch of high schoolers full of red liquid that they're likely to expel, every opportunity of a gag is an emergency. Like, ugh. Hey, you get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. Fuck out of here. You know, no way we're cleaning up a giant murder scene when you yak up half a quart of the finest boxed red wine that we could get. I'd buy for in exchange for a couple lottery tickets.
I like this girl, and I think she liked me back. We had this, like, I liked her, and she didn't like me, and then reverse situations. And anyway, I'm going to ask her out, and I'm 15, but I decided that getting her drunk would be in my best interest. So we both worked together at this store called Old Salt. It's on the boardwalk in Ocean City. And behind it, there was like a 30-year-old parking attendant with long hair. The kind of guy who knows where you can get pot. Like, not that I wanted pot, but that's my description of him.
You knew he'd know. Yeah.
You knew he'd know. Deplorable
Funny
me.
mug.
That's
What,
great.
he's got a piece on it.
So anyway, I go back there and I'm like, I need like a 6-pack of beer or a 12-pack of beer. I want to do this romantic date. And we're going to have beer and hot dogs. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to go the wine route? And I'm like, I really think beer is the thing that, like, people in my age group seem to covet, you know, like it. And I'm asking him to buy me beer. And what was great about him was not that, like, he wouldn't do it. It was just that he was trying to upscale my
He's trying to
choice.
help you out.
Yeah.
So this guy that you pulled a hey mister with gave you a little romantic tip afterward.
Exactly.
You know,
Nah, kid, give her a few of these,
Yeah.
and then I'll come with you.
In the
She'll
end,
be putty in your hand.
I was
You
set up
know?
with a basket
Our
with the cloth in it and and a bottle of wine, and I don't think we ever went on a date, but I think he did send me in the right direction.
You did, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You should, like, that's funny that you asked a guy who's, you know, ostensibly homeless and a vagabond to be like, hey, can you buy me this in exchange for the 3 Slim Jims you can get with the change? And he's, yeah, I'm probably gonna use it. No, Slim Jims, I haven't eaten in a few days. I'm an alcoholic, you know how it goes. You're getting beer? Oh, fuck, man. You know, I haven't been in your situation in a while, but definitely, I'm not a guy you should take life tips from, but go with wine. You know, and he's taking out there, but real quick, I'm gonna go get that alcohol. You know, because
I want volume for your dollar. Trust me, kid.
yeah.
He really liked me. I would pass him every day as I went to work, and, you know, either on a bike or walking. And
He was friends with your arcade buddy with the handful of quarters.
that guy.
They were
was
part of the
definitely
same
a
men's
pedophile.
group.
That guy, like, there was a time in my life, like in the 20s, it's like, you know, that might have been a pedophile. It's weird that a grown man would ask, like, a 14-year-old to come back to his apartment to check out his really cool stereo.
That is so fucking
But
It is weird that they checked my prostate. I mean, I was only 14, and he wouldn't let me look at his tools. He blindfolded me throughout the whole
he's the
procedure,
guy
and it
that
was
taught me
rather
how to play
uncomfortable.
pool. He taught me how to play. Like he this was at an arcade, so you had to pay, like, I don't know, 50 cents or $1 every game, and he would just. It was an investment he was making in my tiny ass. You know, he's like, yeah, maybe $6, and I'll finally fuck this kid.
Well, you know what? He if he was going out to a bar to try and pick up an adult woman, he'd probably have to have bills.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
like
absolutely.
at least. But
Yeah.
you know, he was going for the lowest hanging fruit, children in an arcade.
He nailed it too. Like I was really curious about that stereo. Like it was the perfect thing to say
still,
to me.
you could tell Woody is still curious about what kind of
Yes.
subwoofers this guy had. He's like, maybe I should have went. I mean, how bad could it be? How
Yeah.
bad could it be? He had a Panasonic G400, kids. Okay, I could take a little dick if I can turn the dial, if I can pick the song. Hey,
Dude.
what's on you lose?
I
some?
keep
think
picturing
that-
Woody being like, and you know that guy's name? Jeffrey Bose. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, he would have given me a job. He set my whole life up, you know, and all because I thought he wanted to fuck me. I didn't take that risk.
It
You know,
was
I would have taken a
probably,
fuck.
like,
On your screen.
And as you see, Gotham is burning.
Run your
This is like how I tell people that come over that my sex swing is a trapeze. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that's where I do my trapeze work. Yeah, don't worry. Don't just
with
ignore that.
with a dildo.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
trapeze with a dildo.
Ignore all those extra implements lying about.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah. I mean, those are dildos, but that's not a sex swing. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I got the leopard print trapeze. What? It was so funny when the contractors were putting in our carpet. They saw the Sawzall with like the dildo attachment on it. There wasn't a dildo on it, but there was a thing.
What?
I have so a Sawzall is a reciprocating saw that kind of looks like a gun. You pull the trigger in the back and it goes.
Yeah.
And you normally use to saw things, but I put an attachment on mine so that you could then mount a dildo onto it.
Jesus Christ!
Machine gun a pussy. And I didn't have the dildo on it, but I did have like the round ball attachment that the dildo slides over, and that was sitting outside. And they were out there looking at it like, because these are like handymen, right? They have lots of tools. They're contractors, and they're like,
yeah,
we've been looking at this thing for about 10 minutes. What in the world is that? And I was just like,
You're like, that is something that needs to be washed.
I was like, I don't know. I
You
don't
guys
know what
didn't
that
touch
is.
it, did you?
Yeah, nobody touched it, right?
How receptive are women when you bring out a Black & Decker, fucking sex toy?
100%. You know, first of all, you don't just say, "Ha-ha, surprise, bitch!" Like
That's been my mistake then.
And then a bunch of Chinese people came over, and a bunch of Japanese people came over. And when that happened, their countries were the shithole countries. And he basically went through this whole thing about how the people who have helped build our country at the time came from what would have been considered shithole countries, and that's what makes us so fucked up.
I mean,
maybe he's wrong.
The point that there are, everybody knows that there are shithole countries out there that you wouldn't want to live in. Like, would you want to live in Somalia? No, because it's kind of a shithole. It's insanely dangerous, and it's not.
I also
safe.
wouldn't want to live where any of the three of you live. So what does it matter?
What a ridiculous comparison. Come spend 30 minutes.
My point is, I wouldn't want. You think I haven't? I'm a fucking road comic. You think I haven't traveled?
Oh, have you played Mogadishu yet? No, you fucking haven't.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I haven't traveled there. I'm saying I've traveled to where
That's the same as those pirate countries where they sail out and try to get enough food
Stop
to eat.
saying the thing I didn't say as if I said it. I'm saying.
You need to have nice clothes. You don't want to be walking around with dirty shoes and ill-fitting jeans and boxy, ugly shirt. That's a big thing.
Zippy boxy shirts. I like teasing Taylor about it because he can't help it at all.
Yeah.
It couldn't be less his fault. Yeah, we just like, this is my Taylor accent. Boxy shirts.
That's the laugh of someone who's very angry. He's gonna go beat the shit out of Rufus after this show. Rufus is the old homeless man who lives outside.
He has his own homeless person.
Yeah, most people just get a pet, but he's from Missouri, back where that stuff is commonplace.
Missouri. Okay.
Missouri.
Get it right?
No. I'm from the Missouri part.
Yeah,
My
I told you.
grandparents are from the Missouri.
Hoity-toity, Missouri.
Yeah,
La-dee-da.
pinkies up. We pronounce the I.
I won. Of course, the football square thing. I told that story a few weeks ago. I won a pull-up competition on the boardwalk one time, but like the collecting prizes shit was hours later, so I didn't. I won a hermit crab race at one point, which was I worked for a store that sold hermit crabs. So
my god, I thought this was a race where you like crab walked.
Oh,
You're
no.
telling me it's a race where you race actual hermit crabs versus another.
Yeah, there's
Even
also a beauty contest involved
Come
called
on, man.
Miss Crustation, where you would decorate the hermit crab.
Bring out the crab girls.
Yeah, no, they're not girls. You glue like confetti and streamers and shit like that to the crab shell, and then you show it off as the prettiest crustacean, Miss Crustacean.
Sorry for
But I was involved in the races, and since we sold, like, maybe you as a peasant would just enter your crab, me as staff would have like 500 crabs to choose from, and I would pick like a really active, spunky crab, mid-size. Don't go too big, don't go too small. You want a spunky mid-size crab, and I won that, and I got a trophy for it, which we kept at the store and argued that our crabs were the healthiest on the boardwalk.
So glad.
The coolest thing I won was a Schwinn. It was a mountain bike. We actually still have it. And it was actually Jackie who won it. It was like this Avion water raffle type thing. And as soon as she brought home like a pretty legit mountain bike, it's not a real mountain bike person might not like it, but I thought it was pretty cool. As soon as we brought home like a nice bike, I was like, we won. Jackie's like, what's this we? Like, what do you mean we? And like the seat was always adjusted to my size, and I bought toe clips for it so I could take it out in the woods and like ride with my friends. And she didn't. She's like, toe clips? Like, what? It is like, baby, it's just not really your bike anymore.
This has become my bike.
Like all
You got those short little legs anyway. I mean, come on.
Yeah, like I was using it way more than her.
I don't think I've fucking won anything. I've seen people win stuff. My my dad's friends when I was growing up, they were all into hunting and like shooting archery competitions. He used to do a lot of that, and 3D target shooting and all that stuff. And so they would go to these like things called like a Buckarama. It's like a big outdoor expo that's all about hunting, mostly in hunting supplies, guns, knives, all that shit. And they're always giving stuff away and having raffles at those things. So if you're at one for the day, you could easily drop $250, $300 and be in like a couple dozen of them. And every time we'd go to one, I'd get a ticket to everything. My dad would get a ticket to everything. We never won a single thing ever. And I mean, I've been to 10 of them easily 10 of these things. And his friends, one of his friends won 4 or 5 different things. Like he's known as a lucky guy. He's always just lucking into things. It's kind of maybe it's a perceived thing, but he won a Remington 1100. He won a fucking bass boat one year. He won the whole
Those
Buckarama.
are huge prizes.
What's a Remington 1100?
It's the low end semi-automatic 12 gauge shotgun. He was always winning like a guided hunt to here or there. He won like the biggest buck competition one year. Like he shot the biggest buck that got shot for a year of everyone who entered into the Buckaroo competition. It was outrageous.
Was it called the Buckaroo competition?
I thought it was Buckarama. If there was a
that's just as good.
Sounds like a fun competition too.
Oh, I won a sheep riding rodeo competition when I was like 9. Because if you're a very young child and you go to a rodeo, they don't have you ride horses and bulls because that's reckless. They basically get a sheep and they put you on it and you grab the wool and they go, hold on, and then they spank the sheep and then it runs around for a while and all the people laugh and cheer because you're just a little kid. I won that.
You know why?
Because I was
you fucking hit puberty already. You were 5 foot tall. You had a beard.
It's because that
she was like
I can't think of anything else I've won. Nothing like a bass boat.
I know.
No, I don't even know anybody that's won something like that, or like a car, or like something major.
Oh, a kid on my hockey team, we had a tournament, like for like the tournaments we'd go to in like Milwaukee or Chicago or wherever it was. They would always have like big silent raffle things at the rink because there's huge amounts of parents there, and it's not like you go hang out at this rink for a couple hours that day. It's like, okay, we have a game at 1, and then they have another one at 4, and so we're just going to be here for like 7 hours, and so there's a big silent raffle. And I didn't do it, and I didn't win anything because I didn't enter because I was a child. But Joey, a kid on my team, I don't know how he got access to like the sheet that you write down, like, because you know how silent raffles work. If you're an adult, you walk over, you write down your name, the amount you're willing to pay for something, and then that's it. He wrote his dad's name in, and very high amounts for like the top like 7 or 8 best prizes.
That's
to
Dwight
where
Schrute.
Dwight Schrute. Oh yeah, this sounded like Dwight Schrute who just outbids people. That's basically what he did. And the dad had to like talk to the curator of this silent auction and be like, just look at the handwriting. It's clearly done by like an 11-year-old. I'm not paying for any of these items. Like I'm not. He's like, well, sir, this you ruined the silent auction then. Like, you've ruined the silent auction.
I think-
Like,
I mean-
that's just too bad. I'm not paying for these things that my son wrote in.
You can just walk out. It's not like a contract where you have to pay it. You can just be like,
It's just
well, no,
embarrassing.
I'm going to. Yeah, but you're just
I
like,
won a
fuck,
silent
Timmy.
auction where like Hope's music teacher was going to write us a song or perform a song or something, and never followed up on it. Does he still owe me that song
There
from
is
like a year
no
and a...
statute of limitations on that. Let's
I
get the
say
pressure
wait.
on this man right now. PKA Christmas album. He's producing it.
Like, take one look at a dog and one at a cow. One's a lot of fun. The other one's just food.
Well, depends where you come from, right? It's all in perspective, I suppose.
I think if you're ISIS, cows are a lot of fun. Goats.
Goats.
Yeah,
Those are
goats,
like-
yeah, okay.
like, goats.
Gosh.
Yeah, really, anything but us in the animal kingdom would suck to be. Even the next echelon. Harambe got killed just because there was a bad parent nearby.
Yeah, it's true.
You know? That's all
That's
that it took.
absolutely true.
Feller in the white.